for the next 2 weeks. Now as I look around, I see very light luggage, but that's okay. I guess we'll have to share. But I tell you what, we don't share food. I get hungry and sometimes hangry. Now for your safety, please remain seated at all times, keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs over in motion. Now, is this anyone's first safari ever, my friends? Welcome aboard. This is so exciting. We're going to get to know each other real well over these next 2 weeks. Everyone say twin day. That means let's go, folks. Now, right above your heads for your convenience is an animal spotting guide. It's going to help you identify some of the animals on the reserve today. And while we might not necessarily see all of them, we do usually get pretty lucky. Kind of have somewhat of a golden touch today, so fingers crossed. Now, the first area that we're journeying through on the reserve is known as the Little Ituri Forest. Now, first and foremost, on your right-hand side, you're going to find the Okapi. Beautiful animal, but note that animal is not wearing zebra pants. In fact, they're not even remotely related to the zebra. They're only related to the giraffe. Now, we know this because they have the same long prehensile tongues that giraffes do. That, of course, helps them get leaves from faraway branches. They have the same facial bone structure as giraffes as well.
Right, look at the animal. Look at the bird. Come here, look. Problem.
Now, folks, as we do get closer to the river, on your left-hand side, you're going to find quite a beautiful bird. It is known as the saddle-billed stork. It is a stork, of course. It gets its name after a yellow shield that is on its bill. Now, that stork can stand up to 5 feet tall and has quite an impressive 9-foot wingspan, which is incredible because it's able to stay so compact. I had those cameras ready. I see quite a rarity coming up ahead on your left-hand side. We're going to find 2 animals, a dark brown one and a light tan one. Let's talk about the dark brown one first. They're going to be on top of this hill on your left, kind of diagonally behind you in a way. And that is the bongo. They are known as the ghosts of the forest. They're rather shy, that's why they get their name. Now their horns lean backwards to help them easily navigate through vegetation. They're pretty agile. Now that light tan animal, that animal is the rarity, folks. That is known as the greater kudu. I almost never see them myself because they're really excellent at hiding in the forest. They usually hide deep, deep within the thickets of the forest. Now that one that we saw there, that was a female. You can tell the males and females apart because only the males have horns. Now, as we exit the Little Ituri Forest, we're going to be entering the Safia River Valley, home of the one and only Nile crocodile. But speaking of Nile animals, I do see another friend up ahead on our right-hand side. As we get to the bottom of this hill, you're going to find the Nile hippopotamus. Now, they're pretty huge. They weigh about 5,500 pounds, but surprisingly enough, they only eat about 80 to 90 pounds of vegetation per day, which is kind of small compared to their massive, massive weight. And you can kind of get a glimpse of its teeth right now, but when its mouth is open, you will see those 18-inch heavy-duty teeth. They are pretty impressive. Now, this is actually a rarity to see them out of water at this time of day, especially with the sun out and the heat. You usually hide underneath the water. You use the water as protection all day long. They will stay submerged up to 8 minutes at a time, go back down, come back up for a breath, and then continue that cycle. Now, on your left-hand side, you're also going to find the pink-backed pelican. Now, you might look at me and say, hey, Kareem, my dude, I'm sorry, man, you're crazy. These animals are not even remotely pink. And you know what? You're right. That only happens during mating season. During that time, their backs turn pink, giving their feathers a pinkish hue. Some people might even call this blushing. Aww. Folks, I'm going to use caution as we go over this next bridge. Because as promised, on your left-hand side, you're going to find the Nile crocodile. Now, they can grow up to 16 feet in length and have about 500 pounds to them as adults. It's actually said that an adult can eat up to half of its weight in a single meal, which sounds like a pretty epic dinner to me. folks, if you did not know, they're actually known to be really, really great parents. Both the mothers and fathers will help their babies hatch faster by rolling their eggs around in their mouth. Now, I know that does sound weird, but it's rather effective. As we exit the forest ecosystem, we're going to be entering a very different one. My personal favorite, in fact. It is known as the Savannah, and it is home to the world's most famous animals. That first indicator of that new ecosystem is coming up on your right-hand side in just a moment. This massive tree over here on your right-hand side is known as the baobab tree, friends, and it is quite literally the coolest plant on the entire planet, and I'll tell you why. That tree is actually leafless 9 months out of the year, but that massive trunk can hold about 13,000 gallons worth of water for animals to drink from each and every day, thus giving it my personal favorite nickname, the Tree of Life. Now, as you look upon the Savannah's landscape, you're going to notice two things. It's a lot more flat than the forest, and it has a lot less vegetation. This helps two kinds of animals, those that walk for great distances and those that are meant for speed. Now, I see quite a few animals out right off the bat, but I'm going to talk about them as we get closer to them. Now, I'm going to mention this one right now, but we're going to get closer to them later. This one on your right-hand side is known as the Ankole cattle. It is a type of cow, but as promised, I will talk about them in just a moment. I think I have one other friend that I'd like you guys to meet first. If you look on your left-hand side, you're going to find one of the cutest animals I've ever seen in my entire life. They are known as the painted dog. You're going to find them by that rock wall in the back, and you're also going to find them in that cave. Now, once I get closer, I will slow down for those pictures. There you go, folks. I'm going to go really slowly over here. Now, their cuteness, I got to tell you, is a total deception. They are one of the most vicious animals in the entire world. They actually have a 90% success rate as predators, which, by the way, is 10 times more than the lion. Also on your left-hand side, back there, not only are you going to find a giraffe, I'll talk about them in a moment, but you're going to find the sable antelope. They're actually the emblem here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, like I said, I will talk about the giraffes in just a moment, but also on your left-hand side, you're going to find the eland. That is that tan animal behind that branch over there. Now, the eland is one of the largest antelope in the world. They're also going to be coming up on your left-hand side in just a moment, another one. They weigh about 900 pounds, and they've got really cool spiral horns. Now, coming up on your left and right-hand side of the truck, you're going to find the wildebeest, the largest migratory animal in the world. They actually migrate up to 1,000 miles every single year. Got to get in those steps, you know, right? They have rather large herds. Actually, the smallest one ever recorded was about 500 wildebeest. And I say that that's small because they can go north of 1.5 million members in a single herd. Let's talk about those cows real quick, the Ankole cattle, as mentioned before. Now, they are sometimes referred to as the Watusi cattle because that is the tribe that first domesticated them. I think we can all agree that their horns are massive, but they're not as heavy as you might expect. Their inner structure is actually a honeycomb shape, which allows for blood to flow through them, allowing them to regulate their body temperature. Now let's talk about those giraffes, folks. Those are actually Maasai giraffe. Now we know that because they have irregular patterns on their coat, kind of like a human's fingerprint. No two coats are ever the same. Now giraffes lead a pretty interesting lifestyle. They do almost everything standing up, and I literally do mean everything, folks. I've only seen a giraffe sit twice in my entire life, which means they'll even sleep standing up, which, by the way, is only about 30 minutes a day, which is very little and definitely not my lifestyle. I'll tell you what else they do standing up. They will also give birth standing up, which sounds super uncomfortable. First thing a giraffe experiences when it's born is a 6-foot drop to the ground. Talk about coming into life full impact. On your right-hand side, you're going to find another pretty cute animal. It's one of the smallest antelope in the world. It is known as the springbok, but don't be deceived by its size. It is also one of the top 10 fastest animals in the world. They run up to 60 miles per hour. Now, the springbok gets its name because when startled, it will spring 6 feet in the air and 13 feet forward, which is very impressive. Now, if you ever see them playing a game of leapfrog, that's what's known as procking. It is basically them jumping It's 13 feet forward.
Whoa.
Now friends, if you get a glimpse on your left-hand side, you're going to find the mandrills. They're the largest monkey in the world. You know, males weigh about 100 pounds and females lie short of just 30 pounds. So it's really easy to tell them apart when they're next to each other. By the way, this is the same monkey that Rafiki was. Rafiki was a mandrill, and by the way, in Swahili, Rafiki does mean friend. So I consider all of you my Rafikis. The mandrills are pretty cool. They have really awesome visual cues. It's actually said that when they're happy and excited, their face becomes more vibrant. The colors on their face become more vibrant, which is really cool. And it's definitely a social cue I wish other animals had. You know who I'm talking about, right, folks? Humans. Now, I'll tell you what, I really have quite a few more animals to tell you about, so I'm going to try to take you deeper into African territory. We're going to try to scope out what we can. I want to keep my eyes open for any signs where some animals might have been nearby. I'll try to track them down for us. Now, folks, I think I see a clue, actually. On your right-hand side, in that red clay, I see fresh elephant tusk marks. You know, that actually makes total sense. That is their favorite snack. It has a lot of vitamins and minerals that help nourish their bodies. So you know what? We might find some elephants nearby. I think I just heard from the warden that we actually have some Animal Crossing happening up ahead, which is kind of delaying a little bit of our travel time right now, but that's no worries. Once they start moving, we're going to start moving too.
Go this way, please. No, we're going this way.
All right, friends, everyone say Twin Day.
Twin Day.
Here we go. Folks, I think that clue that we found earlier is helping a little bit. I actually do see an African elephant up ahead. It's going to be on your left-hand side of the truck. It's going to be right behind those big branches over there. We'll go as slow as possible so you guys can get some pictures. Now also on your left hand side, I will keep your head turned. You're going to find the greater flamingo. They're actually the largest flamingo in the world, weighing at 9 pounds. But what you might not know is that their color is not natural. It actually comes from their diet, which is a brine shrimp. That shrimp has a protein known as beta carotene, and that is what gives them that pinkish coloration. Now, a grouping of flamingo is also known as a flamboyance. And folks, if my eyes do not deceive me, I see a hidden Mickey there on the island. Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, here's another great view for those elephants. Can't stop, but you might be able to still see them. Alright folks, twin day. On your left hand side you're going to find a white rhino, by the way, quite a few of them. And you can tell that these are white rhinos for one of two ways. You can either consider their environment, that you'll always find them on the grasslands. You can look at their lips. Their lips are actually rather wide, whereas on a black rhino you might find pointed lips. Another easy way to distinguish them between black rhinos is they're significantly larger. They weigh about 5,000 pounds and can charge up to 35 miles per hour. So it happened the other day and it was a little terrifying at first, but it was pretty cool too. Now of course rhinos are pretty cool because they do not have any natural predators, but there is one unnatural one that does come to mind. It's rather unfortunate actually, it's just us human beings. There are actually some cultures that believe rhino horns possess medicinal properties. And while that has not been proven, the only thing scientifically that we know about rhino horns is that they are made up out of the same keratin that make up our hair and fingernails. So if you think about it, when these animals get poached, it's for hair and fingernails. And that's just really sad, because they're meant for so much more. Now folks, we're sharing a very special moment right now. On your left-hand side is one of my all-time favorite animals. It is the cheetah. I actually see two of them out right now. I think one of her, she's right there, and then the other one is a little bit up top. Now she is precious. I really love cheetahs. Now they're able to run 70 miles per hour in just under 3 seconds, which can definitely outrun my car. Don't get in my car, folks. I'll tell you, they're able to do that because they're the only big cat that cannot retract their claws. So if you think about it, they have a pretty good grip on the earth. Now scientists actually call cheetahs the scaredy cats of nature because cheetahs are easily startled. It's actually how that expression came to be. In fact, their first instinct when startled is to sprint 70 miles per hour in the opposite direction. Now folks, I'll tell you why they're my favorite animal of all time. They're the only big cat that can purr. So if you think about it, cheetahs are cute and cuddly. Now if you look at this rock formation on your left hand side in just a moment, it is known as a Okapi. It is the go-to hangout spot for lions. And speaking of lions, I actually see the male very close to us right now. I'm going to stop so everyone can get a view of him. He is so majestic. Here we go, folks. I would definitely get those photos taken. That is just, oh look at, oh the female's out too. I didn't even see her before. Hey there, friend.
He is awesome.
They're amazing. I'll tell you what, folks, if you didn't know, you can tell the males and females apart because only the males have mane. It's actually said that that mane can weigh up to 40 pounds, which is a heavy head of hair. I definitely could not rock that myself. Youch. Now, I don't know if anyone else has ever heard a lion's roar. Actually, there's the other female, by the way, too, on your left. But their roars are rather loud. It can actually be heard from up to 5 miles away. So when it's this close, it kind of feels like a miniature earthquake. It's both a little terrifying and quite invigorating at the same time. Now, they lead the lifestyle I wish I had. They rest for up to 20 hours a day, which sounds pretty epic. In fact, they'll only spend very few nighttime hours doing most of the hunting, which, by the way, happens only by the females. The males will stay behind to be excellent dads. They will raise the cubs and guard the territory. Now, if I've got any Pumbaa fans in the truck, coming up momentarily on your left-hand side are some warthogs sleeping. They might look like they're rocks, but I promise they're not. Now, they're actually the largest burrowing animal in the world. They actually back up into those burrows, leaving their razor-sharp tusks out for protection. And by the way, I do say razor-sharp because they are very sharp.
Well, we can go and find them. Maybe we'll see from the other side.
Folks, I see a little bit of a tree on your right-hand side. Over here, I see an ostrich nest. But those eggs take about 40 days to incubate. So I can't wait to see some cute baby ostriches. I love baby animals. They're the best part of the reserve. Now, I'll tell you what, those eggs weigh about 2 pounds each, which roughly equates to 24 chicken eggs. Wowee. Now, it's also said that those eggs are so strong that a man can stand on them without them even breaking. Now, what you might not know about ostriches is how muscular their legs are. Yes, some people do know that they can run 40 miles per hour, but you might not know how deadly their kick is. That's right, folks. It's actually been proven that an ostrich's kick can severely harm a lion, thus leading us to believe that they don't have too many predators. They're really good at protecting themselves. Coming up on your left-hand side is also one of my favorite animals of all time. It is the Scimitar-horned oryx, and it is beautiful up there. He is pretty cool. Now, he gets his name after the scimitar sword found in most of the Middle East. That's going to be that curved shaped sword that you're going to find in movies like Aladdin. Now, I'll tell you why this animal is so incredibly remarkable. It can actually go 9 months without drinking a single drop of water, which sounds absolutely remarkable. Now, if they see water, they will drink it because why not, right? But they don't necessarily need it. In fact, they won't even begin to break a sweat until their inner body temperature reaches 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Talk about some crazy endurance. Now, my friends, as we exit the Magadi Glen, that does unfortunately wrap up our safari expedition for today. 2 weeks went by kind of fast, right, folks?
Right.
Yeah.
My, time flies when you're having fun. But I tell you what, I always invite you to come back and visit the Kilimanjaro safaris again in the future, because I will personally promise you this. You can say that Kareem told you this. No 2 safaris are ever the same. Trust me, folks. I can literally do this every single day. Now, my friends, we are approaching the village in just a moment, so now would be an excellent time to start collecting your belongings. But I'd look all around too, because usually I even find myself finding things slipping out of my pockets. So just be safe, folks. Now, I'll tell you what, if you want to ride with me again in the future, or if we have any wilderness explorers on the truck with me today, I've been Kareem, you've been you, and you've been riding with the one and only Simba One. Now, friends, I really hate goodbye, so I'm going to leave you with something different today, which is kwaherini. That does mean to go well in Swahili. So, friends, have an amazing day. Go wild, go well. Kwaherini.